is Roxy, your Fire Away Flow Your Mom, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys our homeschool schedule, what it is that we do on the day-to-day to get our work done and to get all of the plans that I have for our homeschool day done. And so I'm going to share with you my individual schedule for myself as a mom, and I'm going to share with you my 4th grader's schedule along with my 7th grader's schedule as well. So I'm hoping that this can help inspire you if you are having trouble with getting your day organized and getting things done and being efficient with your time. If that's something that you struggle with, I'm hoping this video helps you. So stay tuned. Everybody, this is Roxy. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If these videos bless you, please make sure to hit the subscribe button because I love to expand my community and help others who are in this homeschool journey with me. Today's video is going to be a really great one because I'm going to be sharing with you how I get things done throughout my homeschool day. I'm also going to be sharing my children's daily flow and how they get their work done throughout the day. Now, something I wanted to talk about with regard to schedules. I know some of you guys listen to the word schedule and get a little bit nervous because schedules seem to be something that's very rigid and keeps you kind of like in this little box. And if you veer off from the schedule, then it's like the whole day is a disaster. I want to encourage you to have some sort of schedule, whether you call it a schedule or a daily flow, because it's really important to have some kind of structure throughout your day so that you don't finish the day thinking that you didn't get anything done or feeling that feeling of guilt that you didn't get to accomplish what it is that you wanted for your homeschool goals for that day. And so I have had different types of schedules throughout my homeschool journey. As you guys know, this is my 5th year of homeschooling. And so I have had to tweak my schedules every single year based on my children growing and getting into the next grade levels and into higher levels of learning and maturity. So I've had to really adjust my schedule on a year-to-year basis based on what worked and what didn't work. And so I feel that I have made a lot of crazy mistakes in my scheduling, whether it be being too rigid or coming up with schedules that were unrealistic. And I feel that at this point in my homeschool journey, I'm pretty confident in getting a schedule that really works for our family. Now, a couple of things that you want to keep in mind when you are creating a schedule is the age of your children. You know, how old are they? How many children do you have? Whether you have a big gap between littles and bigs, you know, what that kind of looks like. That's something that you really need to take into consideration because it's important that your schedule doesn't be something that causes you stress. I know for me, sometimes in the past, I have created schedules that have been more stressful than they have blessed me. And so it's really important to look at your circumstances, look at what it is, whether you are a working mom, whether you are a stay-at-home mom, you know, all those kinds of factors really come in. And one of the things that I really encourage you to do when coming up with a schedule is to be realistic. Be realistic with what your goals are. Leave buffers, leave areas of time throughout the day where you can catch up or you can kind of fill in if there is, you know, if everybody starts late. You know, we try to live by our schedule, but of course life happens, and with homeschooling, really homeschooling kind of fits into your life. And so I am very much aware of that when I create my schedules. Another thing that's important is think about extracurricular activities. Now, whether or not your children do extracurricular activities, that's a big factor in how you're going to schedule out your day. For example, my children both do extracurricular activities after school. So we know that by 2 o'clock, we have to be done with our homeschooling because that is the time where my kids go out and do their sports. My youngest daughter is in Taekwondo and my oldest daughter is in dance. She's a competitive dancer. And so we're very much aware that we need to get things wrapped up. And I really don't like to leave anything to be done after their extracurricular activities are done because a lot of times they're pretty much tired. They're burnt out from the entire morning and afternoon. And so I really want that to be time that they could just relax and rest. Now, my older daughter, she's a competitive dancer, so she has a pretty rigorous schedule. But my younger one, I really want to hopefully leave that time for her to do, you know, some playing outside and having fun and reading as well. That's something that we really encourage to be done as well. So I'm going to share with you kind of like my mom's schedule, and then I'm going to turn the camera around and show you each of my children's schedules. At the beginning of every homeschool year, I always have a kind of a session where I just look at our year before. I look at what worked and what didn't. I think about all the things that I've been talking about, extracurriculars and our lifestyle and all those kinds of things, and I come up with a schedule at the beginning of the year. I also reevaluate my schedule mid-year. So in winter break, I take time to look at and see whether or not that schedule needs to be tweaked or anything like that as well. So just always being kind of self-aware and intentional about your schedule is really a great way to make sure that you have something that's going to work for you and not something that's going to stress you out. So I begin my day at 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, I am not a morning person, never have been, always been a night owl, even through my college years and my law school years. I love staying up late, sleeping in. I could stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning and do tons of projects and tons of things. And I have found that that kind of lifestyle really doesn't work for homeschooling, for being a mom, and for being a working mom as well. And so it left me very, very tired. My kids are up early. So of course, being a night owl just doesn't work for my lifestyle. So I began, as of about 3 years ago, I began to train myself to wake up earlier and earlier, to become a morning person, basically. And I think I've gotten to a point where I really can't even sleep past, I would say, like 8 o'clock anymore in the morning, and that's like on a Saturday, because it's just my body is used to waking up early. Now I do go to bed much earlier than I used to. So, and I will show you that when I go through my schedule as well. So I wake up at 5 a.m. I'm in the 5 a.m. club. I try to be a 4:30 a.m. person, but that just does not work. It's way too early for me, but I feel like 5 a.m. between 5 and 5:30 is really the sweet spot. That really gives me a great opportunity before my kids are up, before the house wakes up, for me to be able to do some things that I really am interested in. So at 5 a.m. I wake up, I go right into, I don't even like change or get dressed. I grab a glass of water in the kitchen really quietly, and I go to my little space where I do my morning basket. So I have a morning basket, a morning mom basket, and I will share that in a separate video if you guys are interested in seeing what I do. But I go through some devotional books, I go through some prayers, I pray the rosary, I also do a Bible study where I am reading the Bible in a year. I'm doing a Bible in a year podcast, and I have shared that in my day in the life videos before. So between 5 and 6 a.m., I'm kind of just in that mode where I'm preparing myself mentally. I'm reading some really encouraging books. I'm reading the daily readings for Mass for that day. I'm going through my Bible study. So it really gives me a chance to have that one-on-one time with God and one-on-one time with myself to be able to then serve others. Because we as moms are, we die to self, right? We're constantly feeding our family, taking care of our family, doing chores, doing all these things to serve others, but we do need to have that time where we spend time with God and we serve ourselves in the sense of getting to our own peace and being able to really meditate on the things we want to talk about or pray about with God. And so I think that's really, really important. So once that hour is up, so I take about, not really an hour, about 30 to 40 minutes doing that. And then I spend the next hour and a half working. So I am a working mom. I have a law practice. And so I spend that 1 hour and a half just to get caught up with my work day. I really, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 2 o'clock, I'm really like offline when it comes to work. I am dedicated fully to homeschooling. So I like to make sure that I answer emails, I write down anything that needs to get done, anything that's pending, that where I can do it in my work block later on in the day. So it really helps me to kind of plug into work, just make sure everything is running smoothly during that hour and a half. So I do that as part of my daily routine. Now, usually my children wake up. My oldest daughter, she's in 7th grade. She wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and she actually grabs some fruit and some water and begins working on her math. We have found that with math, and this happened to us a lot last year, it was something that if she didn't get it done, like it stressed her out the whole day. And so getting your math done when your brain is fresh, for me, like, and for her, has worked so well. So she gets up and about 6 o'clock and does that full hour she takes to doing her math lesson for the day. So she will come in the room, she'll maybe slice up some fruit just to have a little bit of sugar, have some water, and she will work on her math. And they're working quietly, so I am really just, sometimes I don't even know that she's in the homeschool room actually doing the math work. I don't even know she's doing it. She goes in really quietly. She doesn't wake up her younger sister, and she just gets that done. My youngest one, who's in 4th grade, she wakes up at 6:30. So she's up about 30 minutes to 45 minutes later, and she will take the time to do her math work in the morning as well. Again, all these things are great for them to just get that, most difficult or the subject that requires the most brain power out of the way and done. And then everything kind of really steamrolls from there, really continues to flow from there very nicely when they get their math done in the morning. So between the hours of 5 and 7 a.m., I'm doing my work, they're doing their work, and that's kind of how it works with us. Now, once it gets to 7 a.m., to 8 o'clock in the morning, that is our get ready for school, do your morning 5, do your chores, and I do my chores as well. So we're all kind of flowing together, doing the same similar things. So my children have a chore chart. They have different chores that they do every week. One of them, so every day of the week, they have a different chore. So we rotate chores, whether it be they dust, they empty the dishwasher, they sort laundry, they, what else do they do? Take out the trash. So they do all these different chores, and I will do a separate video on chores because I love talking about how it's so important that everybody in the family contributes. And so we do our chore during that time. And I also do my own chores. One of the things that I can't stand is if there is like a mess or a disaster or like chores that need to be done in the morning that like, I'm in my homeschool room trying to concentrate on homeschooling, and then like all of these, like there's laundry piles and there's things like that's very distracting for me. So really taking that 1 hour or to 45 minutes to get whatever chores that I need to get done. Maybe it'll be a laundry basket that I need to fold, or something that I need to pick up, something I need to organize and get ready. I use that time to do that. I also use the time to make breakfast and get the kids' breakfast done. Now, if my husband is home, he's a firefighter, so if he is home, he will do the breakfast for us. But when I'm home with the kids by myself, I will do the breakfast and do all of that while he's on shift. So that is kind of, once 8 o'clock in the morning hits, that's when we kind of like are in homeschool mode. I like to ring my little bell. I'm like, guys, it's 8, whatever chores they were doing, if they're not done, they stop, we get right into our homeschool day. So for my homeschool day from 8 a.m. until 10, which is the first 2 hours of our homeschool day, my oldest one, my 7th grader, is doing her independent work, and my 3rd grader is doing her morning meeting with me. Now, if you guys don't know what a morning meeting is, I will link in the description box below a video that I made on morning meeting and what I go over in morning meetings. But I have morning meetings with my children every single day for about 2 hours. And that is the time where I teach a lesson to them. I go over any of their homework that they had questions on, so that they're not driving me crazy throughout the day with questions. That is the time where I grade their work, I review their work, I see what's going on, any questions that they may have, any confusions they may have. We also go through their assignments, and I make sure that their assignments are getting done on a daily basis. We also go over what's called math reports. We use Nicole the Math Lady subscription for our math, and so they do online grading for our Saxon math. So we go over any questions that they got wrong, any math problems that they got wrong, we go over that. So it's really a productive 2-hour time period with each child where we're able to do one-on-one time with mom, no other distractions. And so my morning meeting gets split up. So my younger daughter is in the morning, and then my older daughter does an afternoon meeting. And so we do that. In between that, from 8 to 10 is my morning meeting with my youngest one. And then from 10 to 12 is our morning basket time. Morning basket time is my favorite time of the day. It's the time where the whole family gets together, both of my kids and myself, sometimes my husband when he's home, and we go through a loop schedule of different subjects and topics and unit studies. We do our read aloud. We do tons of things in those 2 hours, and it's like my favorite time because really morning basket is the epitome of why homeschooling is so fun and so amazing. It's that siblings get to sit down together at the table with mom, with dad to learn together. And so that is really special time for us. Then from 12 to 12:30, we take a lunch break. That is when we sit down, we do our lunch, we watch World Watch News. My older one loves watching World Watch News, so we kind of get caught up with the news of the day. We talk about it during our lunch break, and it's really a great time, again, for us to just take that little break for about 30 minutes. Also during that time, if I do have some time after I've made lunch, I will wash whatever dishes need to be washed from breakfast time if there's anything there, kind of just to keep things flowing, because as you guys know, if you're homeschoolers, like, you know, we eat every single meal at home. And so it's really, you have to kind of stay on top of dishes and all the other things in order to have your house kind of function properly, because if not, it's just chaos. So I like to just take care of anything I need to do. Also, if there's maybe somebody that for work that is calling me or needs to talk to me, or I have, like, for example, me and my friend started a new co-op. Sometimes we'll talk throughout the week just about what's going on and what we need to get done for our co-ops. You know, anything that needs to happen, that is like my break time where I can kind of go out into the outside world and like figure out anything that needs to be, tie up any loose ends that need to be done before I go back into homeschooling. Because one of the things that's really important is if, you know, you are homeschooling, you've got to be present. You've got to be there for your kids. And that's something that I keep very sacred for me. I take my homeschooling job as a job. You know, I take it very seriously, and I make sure to not have my phone on me, not check social media, not check emails, like really try to keep that focused time, because my children need that time with me. And I want to be there present with my kids every single moment. So we do our lunchtime from 12 to 12:30, and then from 12:30 to 2:30, I go right into my morning meeting with my oldest 7th grader. And so again, I will link in the description box what that looks like, but that is the time where we work together. And then my youngest daughter is working on her independent work. So one of the things that I implemented this year that really has changed, I mean, has been a game changer in my homeschool, is I post my children's independent work assignments on the board every morning. So every morning I write their assignments on the board, and they know exactly what is expected of them for the day and what they need to get done. And so that has been really important, because typically I have done that like during our morning meeting, but really it's up to them to get their work done. And so posting it right in the morning that they can see it, they're able to copy it into their planners, and they know what's expected of them. So that is something that we are doing this year that we didn't do last year, that again, we tweak as we go. So pretty much from 12 to 2:30, about 2:15, we usually finish a little bit early. I have my afternoon meeting with my 7th grader, and then once 3 o'clock hits, we go right into our extracurricular activities. So my husband and I kind of tag team, and we take everybody, we drop off, you know, all of those things. I always say we're kind of like a kid Uber, because we're literally dropping off and picking up. Leave in the comment below if you agree. But pretty much that is our homeschool day. Now from 4 to 5:30, that is a time where I kind of take that time to straighten up the homeschool room, get everything ready for the following day. I like to write on the board the assignments for the next day, things like that. And then my oldest one does do her reading when she gets back from her classes, from her extracurriculars. She does about 30 minutes of reading per day. And then we just get errands done, projects done. I also work during that time. If there's something for work I need to do, I will get that done during that time period from about 4 to 5:30. So as you see, I'm using the time throughout the day efficiently in different blocks. So once 5:30 comes, I begin cooking dinner, prepping dinner, getting things ready. I also like to go and take a walk around the block and do some exercise. It's kind of that time where I just start to unwind for the day and get things ready for the nighttime routine. From 7 to 8, my children are showering, they're doing their nightly routine, they're doing their read aloud, they're reading if they need to do any reading, and everybody is in bed in my home by about 8:30. Now my older one does stay up a little later because she does have dance she dances until late in the evening. But pretty much that's kind of how we flow our day. And then from 8 to 10 p.m. is kind of like me time. It's really time for me to either read or watch a show or a movie. I like to hang out with my husband and just kind of get things unwinded and just get ready for bed. And that's kind of where I do my, nightly things that I do. And I am in bed by 10 p.m. That's what I strive for. Sometimes it's a little late or a little more, like if I'm watching a really good movie and I don't want to turn it off, or a good show, obviously I'll stay up a little later, but I really try to aim for between 10 and 10:30, because if I stay later, then it's much harder to get up at 5 a.m. the next day. So that's kind of how our flow works. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you just kind of an overview of each of my children's schedules so that you can kind of see how their flow works as well. Okay? So I'm going to turn the camera around. I prepare these schedules for my children where they get it at the beginning of the school year, and I post it in a board in my homeschool room so that at the beginning of the school year, they're kind of getting used to their flow and their schedule, and it reminds them. But eventually they begin to memorize their schedule and they kind of just flow with it. So again, I will now turn the camera over and show you each of their individual schedules. Okay, so I'm going to first show you my 4th grader's schedule. And again, a lot of this is going to overlap what I just talked about with regard to my schedule. But I wanted to show you guys what it is that I print out for my children so that they know what their flow is. So again, my youngest daughter wakes up from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. She grabs a fruit and water and she does her math lesson. From 7 to 8 a.m., she will make her bed, get dressed, do her hygiene, her morning chores, eat her breakfast, take her medicine, check board for assignments. So she will come in to the homeschool room and check her assignments for the day and write them in her planner. Again, all of this really overlaps with what we talked about earlier. From 8 to 10, she does her morning meeting with mom. From 10 to 12, we do our morning basket. And that's also when we do a snack time. So before we start morning basket, I tell the kids, grab your snacks, let's sit down, and we go ahead and do our snack time and our morning basket. The children do their handwriting while I do my read aloud. So that's a way to just kind of take that out of their daily tasks, independent tasks, and put it into when we're doing our read aloud time. And then from 12 to 12:30 is our lunch time. From 12:30 to 2 is when she will do her independent work and she sees her workflow. And I create a little workflow for them where I recommend, I kind of have a recommended order of how they should do their assignments, because it just really helps them to be able to get the most difficult things done first and out of the way, which leaves much easier things to do later. I'm kind of like, the best way to do it is to do like the hardest thing. And that's something that's like a skill that really I've been trying to teach my children, is that if you've got a list of tasks, do the hardest one first. Get that one out of the way, because your sense of accomplishment is going to be so much higher and motivated and will motivate you more to get the rest of your stuff done on your list. That I don't know, that's just a little tip I give them. And then from 2 to 3:30, she does her Taekwondo class. And then from 3:30 to 4, she will do her reading time and her reading comprehension sheets. And then sometimes, if she's not very diligent, she will have some work she needs to get done. So she'll have to do that during that time period as well, and may go over 4 o'clock, because, that's kind of the consequence that you get if you don't get your work done and you're not efficient, because the assignments that I give them really gives them enough time to do them. It's a matter of whether they are motivated and want to do it. This is my 7th grader's schedule, and as you can see, it's pretty similar to my 4th grader's schedule, but with a little bit different times. So for example, she will be up from 6 to 7 a.m. She'll grab her fruit, do her math lesson. From 7 to 8, she does her morning 5. She also has time with God. So I ask her to do a little bit of journal time, a little prayer time. And I have a little journal for her that she uses to just have her time to connect with God. I think it's so important to create that habit when they're young. And this is when she does that. And then she also checks her board for assignments and writes them in her planner. From 8 to 10, she does her independent work. And I will do a separate video on the workflow that I prepare for my kids for them to have to do their assignments. If you guys want to see that, please leave a comment below and I will definitely share. From 10 to 12, she will go ahead, we will do our morning basket time, same as my 4th grader. And then from 12 to 12:30, we do our lunchtime. We watch World Watch News. From 12:30 to 2:30, she does her afternoon meeting. And this is something that I don't have in my younger daughter's schedule, but I created this for her so that she knows what the flow of our morning meeting is going to be. So we first cover questions that she may have on her assignments or corrections. I grade my children's work every couple of days throughout the week, and then I will come with corrections or anything that they may have missed. If they didn't understand the directions of their assignments properly, I will go over that with them at morning meeting. We go over our math problem reports, and then we do our lessons for the day. Now, as you guys know, I only teach 2 lessons to each child. Everything else they learn independently. I have purchased and chosen curriculum that helps them to foster independent learning. The only things that I teach my 7th grader are religion and world history. Mondays, Wednesdays, I do religion, catechesis, and Tuesday, Thursdays, I do world history. And then on Fridays, I teach her elective, which is this year is our U.S. Constitution and government from The Good and the Beautiful. So we do that either on Fridays, or we will, if we finish early, Monday through Thursday, we'll break up the lesson and we'll do it throughout the week. And then there's nothing to do Friday. So really this kind of flows depending on what our timing is, whether or not, our history lesson took a long time or our religion lesson took a long time, we'll do that. Then from 2:30 to 3, and even a little bit more than that time, she will finish up any independent work that she has not finished. We will do that. Now, this schedule I create on Canva, super simple. I just make it myself. And I print it out at the beginning of the year. All right, everybody, so that's it. Those are my schedules for the 2024-2025 school year. You guys were able to look at my main mom schedule. You were also able to look at my children's individual schedules. So what is your schedule like? Does it look like mine? Do you need to have more scheduling in your life? Let me know, leave it in a comment below, and definitely like this video so that it reaches more people. And I will see you in the next one where I'll be sharing some more of my homeschool with all of you. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Looking at you all night, trying to figure you out. I just want to make you smile. Hold your hand in my hand, looking at the sunset. Man, you're looking good tonight. I want to kiss you before the sun goes down. It's what you do.